dupe going into the pits. That kind of changes the name of the game. I don't know if I would have pitted, though, at this point, especially with the track position that he had. That's a bold move, especially with the potential for more cautions to come in this race. That would potentially put him on the back foot, as we'll probably go back to green flag racing with around 67 laps to go in this race.
67 laps, probably, like you said there, when we go back to green. So still some time to make something happen. Potentially one more stop there for the Duke machine. And like you said, we've had a lot of cautions here early on, so hopefully he can probably stay out of some of these incidents that we're having. Like we said, there's a lot of cars out there, so sometimes you might have this happen early on when you just got a lot of cars in a small space trying to make it happen. But I'm sure these drivers will get their wits and get this figured out very shortly, and we'll have some great racing like always.
That is always the hope, especially with drivers, for the most part, wanting to kind of control their own destiny here, trying to make sure that they've got the best opportunity to make it into the playoffs, as all the trucks start to go 2 by 2 here for the restart, which is about to happen. Hopefully we don't see as many caution laps as we have seen in recent weeks as this race progresses, but haven't been too many trucks with a lot of severe damage already. Not too many, I should say, but they all will still get that kind of mulligan with the fast repair. They all get one in this race, and it does help if you save it so late. You can be a little bit more aggressive. It's kind of like having a yellow card in soccer, where you get a yellow card early on, you kind of take the mulligan away from yourself. You can't go as aggressive on all the challenges, because when you do that, you may get yourself a second yellow, which equals a red card and a sending off. We look at the conditions here. As per usual, we race almost always under the lights, 79-degree track temperature. Tire wear will not be a major factor in this race. Trucks should handle pretty much the same, if not a little bit tighter, throughout a run. But nonetheless, Eddie Smith will once again lead the way for the third time. He'll get fired off here from the inside row, but a different competitor with Jacob Ellingson on the outside. Restart. We fire back off with 67 laps to go. A little bit more orderly in the top 5 this time.
As we see there, the number 10 of the X machine of James Kaufman trying to make his move towards the top 5. Right there on the outside, just barely looking in. Here on this restart, trying to make some moves to the front. Back here with the 32 machine of Tyler Justice, the number 7 of Charles Abbott there on the inside. These drivers are 2 by 2 here throughout the field right now.
And they get through that first lap back to green with no incidents. There's a bit of a slide going through the middle of the corner there. And there is a wreck going around in turn 2. Caution is back out. I believe the 18 was involved, the 37, the 3 of McCarthy, 90s and the 64. And I'm gonna hold my tongue, because we are in caution number 3 within the first 15 laps of this race, Jeremy.
Matt Nutty is one of those playoff contenders right there on that bubble, with a lot of trucks within 1 point. Hopefully still has that fast repair with a big lick there, as there was a truck that got loose right there in front of him, and unfortunately nowhere to go for the 90s machine. As you can see, the 3 machine of Michael McCarthy backwards there, as we take another look at the replay. They keep abreast the pink looking machine. A little loose right there. Tight quarters going into turns 1 and 2. It looks like a slight checkup in front of him. He tried to check up the 69 machine there of Kevin Martin. Just unfortunately did not see the checkup in front of him and tagged him to spin him out.
Yeah, a bit of a checkup, because the 7 of Abert got down underneath the that white and blue stripe, so his left side tires went onto the apron, different degrees of banking, and obviously that just throws you for a little bit of a ride. You get uncomfortable there as a lot of drivers decide to go down in to pit road. And this is not a bad idea because from here on out, they should be able to make it, if it went green, on just one more stop in this race.
A lot of these drivers right now are trying to put themselves in a great position to get to the end of the race. This is great for that number 78 machine of David Duke. He'll gain a ton of spots from where he was in the middle of that pack right there under that sequence of events. As you can see, the 97 machine getting his lap back. The 78 of Duke will gain a lot more positions back. He was up in the second position here early on, decided to do a early pit. Hopefully thinking he can stretch it to the end. We'll have to keep an eye on that story as we are. But up front, still Eddie Smith leading the way as he stayed out. Not sure what truck was the first one to pit. I believe our top 10 have stayed out.
Well, I do think it's not a bad move to go into the pits at this point of the race, especially with knowing that the fuel would get them to the rest of the way. Not a concern at all. As we look at the board with Colton Lanford up 12 positions in this race, currently in 11th, started in 23rd position, and a pretty solid run for that Mountain Dew truck. It usually that scheme changes every week, and this one is a very unique Diet Mountain Dew scheme.
Definitely has some Dale Earnhardt Jr. vibes. National Guard there on the side. Remember those days, Dale running the green machine. In my eyes, green was always bad luck, never finished well, but obviously a lot of drivers now run the green, so Blue Green's luck has flipped the script, getting more drivers to run it. Brings maybe a little bit more luck to drivers now, but I think the most popular color on most tracks is a red.
Oh my goodness. Well, it is time to talk a little bit about the pole award here, and Eddie Smith won it. That is the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award from Plainfield, Indiana. We're local, we are veteran certified, and when we do well, we can do more good in the community. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They've been with GoatLocker Racing since the very beginning, and they provide GLR with all promotional items, including shirts, hats, decals, dog tags, you name it. Jam is GLR's go-to promotional company.
Always glad to have Jam Printing and Promotions a part of the night, as the drivers have been given the 1 to green signal. See if any of these tires in the back make the difference. We'll see if we can get maybe a couple more green flag laps under our belts here tonight as well. Pace truck lights are off. The field will pace down the back stretch at about 55 miles an hour as they get ready to come back to the green flag. We'll have about 20 laps completed, roughly, with about 60 to go.
David Duke has set the fastest lap in this race, most likely with those fresh tires or from being right in behind the 87 machine at speed while inside the draft. So as this race will go back to green flag racing, we're still within the first quarter of it. And we have had multiple caution periods. Hopefully that does change as we continue moving on through this race. These drivers still trying to get a good footing, a good holding of this short 15 race season. Just 10 races in the regular season to get things right. A little bit of a checkup on the inside and a shove to the 87 saying, get going here. And he does. They're off again into turn 1 and a lot more separation and a little bit of argy-bargy happening all around the midfield.
As the 73 machine of Jeremiah Holt now finds himself in second position, trying to make the charge there on the 87 of Eddie Smith. As he tries to peek his nose to the inside, does not look like he can get there just yet. Behind him, you've got the 16 machine of Tyler Merritt. Trying to get to the inside. There he is to the inside of the number 27 of Jacob Ellingson. They're side by side at the stripe. Ellingson just barely in front of Tyler, but Tyler right now running for the preferred line through the turns, but the exits definitely can keep that momentum on top as Ellingson tries to make it work. Oh, Ellingson just into the wall there. 73 was just in his way. That's going to prevail as the 16 of Merritt's going to get that position.
Nice bit of racing right there as Ellingson got a bit tight, had to take the foot off the throttle for a moment, but still is able to pack air onto that left rear quarter panel and slide it into turn 1. 16 had to move up just a bit, but Merritt still holds strong. So does Ellingson, who has to drop in behind into the slipstream now, and he'll settle for just P4. That's where he started. That's where he runs. We're just over 20 laps into this race, about to complete another one with 58 to go here.
And as we were just looking out the rear camera there of the 27 of Ellingson, you can see the number 10, or the X truck of Ellingson on the charge. We looked at number 78 there of David Duke, now back in the top 10. You can see right there behind that X truck, making his charge back to the front, as a few of these drivers behind him have just pit under this last caution. He's on the outside there of the number 51 of Cadorian Davis. They're side by side out of turn 4, trying to battle for position. We got a yellow on the track. Looks like the 30 truck is involved.
Well, that's Lemley right there, as the 4th caution of the night has come out on lap 24 of this affair, and there's another truck involved just ahead. Let's take a look at the replay here. A lot of drivers all in a small position, and that's just the 30 was just turned by the 36 right there. There's no two ways about it. More trucks trying to figure it out. I mean, he just turned him.
Yep, just really tight racing.
He just turned him.
No other way else to put that. Wow, it was really close. Those other trucks coming. See that number 24 truck of Benjamin Stevens getting turned around as Eddie Smith, our leader, is now down pit road.
Smith going down into the pits. Bang, some more hits right there.
Yeah, Jermaine, one of our playoff drivers, I believe, involved.
Yeah, Bobby Germain was involved in that one as more drivers head into pit road. Germain came into this race only 1.2 the good. Lots of drivers hovering right at that cut line. He is the last one that comes into this race. I wouldn't say safe, but in the playoffs if it were to start today. Eddie Smith, first into his box, first down pit road, first out of the box and out of pit road. So we're going to take a brief commercial break, and we'll be right back with some INVETS GoatLocker Racing Truck Series action on Maconi Entertainment.
Hey everybody, Patrick here with GoatLocker Racing. We got the truck loaded up, getting ready to head north up to Muncie, Indiana. About an hour and a half drive. Get this sim rig in the hands of Josh Unger, our newest veteran that has joined the GoatLocker Racing family. Can't wait to get it in his hands. Folks, we just pulled up, so let's get this thing delivered. Alrighty, that was a whole lot of fun. Got the sim rig dropped off to Josh. He's as excited as could be. Got to meet his 2 boys, his wife, and everything. He's gonna get everything set up and ready to race. So congratulations again, Josh. Welcome to the GoatLocker Racing family, and thanks to everybody that makes this happen. I want to give a special shout out to the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs and the grant they gave us to make this happen. INVETS, you guys are awesome. You are the ones that helped us identify this veteran and so many more. So stay tuned. We got more sim rigs rolling out, and be sure to follow us on all the social media and head over to our website, www.goatlocker.org. Take care.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
We're live at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Maconi Entertainment for the INVETS Truck Series race at the track at GoatLocker Racing presentation. I'm Dylan Coyle alongside Jeremy Briggs, and we're about to come out of a caution period, the 4th caution of this young race, only 27 laps into it. When we go back to green flag racing, we'll have 53 to go. 40 laps is the halfway point here. And I guess we could talk a little bit more about fuel strategy. All these cautions are really going to help everything out here when it comes to saving fuel. All the drivers, I believe, pitted on around the lap 62 caution. It should get them, or 62 to go caution, I should say. It should get them to the end of the race with 1 more pit stop with around 30 or so to go. That is the maximum fuel tank that they possibly can have. Back to green flag racing in a jiffy. David Duke will lead the field. Gets a bit of a shove from the 32 to get going, and we're back underway. What a huge jump right there. The 18 of Andrew Player was caught napping.
Great start there by David Duke, who now finds himself back to the front as we look further on back there. The number 18 finding himself clear of the chaos and 3-wide action. The number 18, the number 92 machine of Alex Egan right there behind him. Finding himself clear as our leader early on there, the 87 of Eddie Smith with some close racing. Oh, 25 is around.
Lanford is around caution number 5 within the first 30 laps of this race. Oh boy, we're going to be pacing again.
Very tricky going through that tri-oval-like section side by side. We'll see what transpired here for the number 25 machine. Oh, it looks like 3 wide just did not work out there for those 3 drivers, and unfortunately the 25 was on the losing angle. It's like one truck is trying to sneak through. Oh, the 99 in front of them was wrecking already, so that's kind of what happened. And 99 got loose, collected a truck right there below them. That is the 99 of Brandon Wallace.
Well,
Up to 51, looks like if Condorian Davis involved.
Well, I will say, good job from Lanford to hold down the brakes as hard as he could. He actually had minimal damage there, even though he got sideswiped on that hood. So, solid job there. Here's a replay from originating from down the backstretch. Brandon Wallace in that 99 machine. Starts out with a high entry, kind of comes to mid-corner, just gets pushed. My gosh, is that another... It's just a bad push. I don't even know what to say about that one. It's, good job from the 99 to not spin it, but I think it was the 10 that pretty much caused that wreck.
Not sure if the 99 was out of the gas there when it happened, but like you said, the 10 just right up into the 99, and unfortunately for the other drivers, but fortunately for the 99, they were able to catch the 99 to keep him going straight. And most of the times out of the wreck, the first person usually involved is usually the person that gets out on the better end of the stick. As he's right on board here with the number 87 of Eddie Smith, finding himself back up into the top 5 as he just pitted under one of our most recent cautions to get fuel to make it to the end. And with all these cautions right here, this should be good, pretty much getting him in the good to go section.
Well, they'll still need to cut him down into the pits at least one more time before this race is over with the 32 lap maximum tank that we were talking about. But
okay, thank you.
Yeah, not a problem, buddy. But let's talk a little bit about the title sponsor here for this Sunday Truck Series. And of course, that is INVETS. Lots of good things to say about the INVETS Truck Series, of course. And, you know, everything kind of about the veteran-owned organization, it does so much good in the community. And, of course, they are the title sponsor of all GLR, you know, Sunday truck racing events.
It's one thing I really enjoy, like I say every time on a GoatLocker Racing broadcast, is all the real life stuff that GoatLocker does just to give back to veterans and the families and children in needs and stuff like that. During holiday times, they do good stuff, and these drivers are doing awesome stuff in the real life. As we are under just a few more pace laps here. Maybe one to go next time by. As we said, David Duke up front, the number 32 right there in second of Cameron Wessenberg. Third position, we got the number 18 of Andrew Player.
So let's talk a little bit about the playoff scenarios going into this penultimate race here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Drivers must race in at least 7 out of the 10 regular season races to be in contention for the playoffs once they start following the Homestead Miami race next Sunday night. David Duke is already in the playoffs as courtesy of his win and the start that he has already reached. Benjamin Stevens has clinched with this start as well. Many other drivers are still eligible for the playoffs from meeting the season minimum already. And there are multiple drivers. Actually, for the final 2 spots, drivers are separated by, and I quote, 8 points. There are 6 drivers. And actually, if you want to go back 10 points, you've got 7 drivers separated by 10 points for the final 2 spots in the playoffs. That's Kendorian Davis, Bobby Germain, both in. Johnny Cofield, Matt Knighties, they're both 1 point back. Tommy Lemley is 2 points back. Charles Abert is 4 points back. Jeremiah Holt, 6 points back. So lots of tense moments in this race. And of course, at Homestead, another 1.5 miles, but a very different 1.5 mile style of track next weekend, Jeremy.
Right now, Jeremiah Holt looking good right there in the top 10, right there on that playoff cutoff line conversation. Like I said, next week going to Homestead, these drivers' seasons are going to be on the line and trying to make it into the playoffs. But a lot of drivers having a lot of misfortune here today, trying to capitalize on those other drivers.
As the pace truck goes off the track and down pit lane, David Duke will lead the way and gets fired off here once again as we're back to green flag racing with 48 laps to go. That Nickelodeon machine of Wessenberg in behind in the 32. And we look back at the 87, Eddie Smith, and the 92 of Alex Egan, all in the top 5. Of course, Eddie Smith wants to continue moving on up through the field as they get back to maximum speed heading into turn 3.
That Tide machine's been up front for majority of the night, trying to get right back up there after making that pit stop. Right now, all over the back bumper of the Andrew Player machine. If you look right back there, you got the Ellingson machine trying to getting around the number 73 there of Jeremiah Holt. As the battle for second is on, almost 3 wide. It is 3 wide going into turns 3 and 4.
Oh, goodness. Are they going to be able to hold it here? Smith got those left side tires down as low as he possibly could have had. Just slid up a bit, held the truck cleanly, and they're almost wrecking one truck into the outside wall through the dog leg. They're all able to keep it straight for now. 90s' turn. Caution will come back out. And what is this? Caution 5 or 6?
Caution number 6 will involve the number 64, Matt Knighties, one of our drivers on that playoff cut line conversation. This may be his second incident tonight, and I believe he might have already used his fast repair. We'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll see what happens here. Looks like the truck in front of him, the number 73 of Jeremiah Holt, finds the wall, and Knighties just came up a little bit just too early going in there into turn 1 because the truck that just hit the wall was still there.
Oh boy. Well, we will probably get back to green flag racing at or just past the halfway point of this race. That'll be with 40 laps to go. That was Lemley there who was getting involved with the truck up high, and then Knighties just turned right into the truck that was there and kind of spun himself, unfortunately.
Spun himself straight in the wall. There's very heavy damage there for that machine, as it looks like a couple trucks like our leader David Duke now coming down pit road with a lot of the drivers from the previous stop pretty much split in the difference there. See if these drivers can make it to the end right here. It's going to be very, very close though. You just had 32 laps of fuel, so this will be very close.
Well, if you recall, David Duke came down during that one of the initial cautions at around 6 laps into this race and decided he would come in for fuel and top off there. So he did have to come down at or around this lap anyway. This just kind of works out for him. As of now, he probably won't make it to the end of this race without having to stop again. A bunch more cautions, though, and things could work out in his favor. So we will have to see as this race continues. Still pacing here. Eddie Smith retakes the lead of this race. Westenberg is still there as well. So kudos to him for keeping that Nickelodeon slime machine up front. Let's take a look at the point standings briefly again. I know we talked about it just a bit, but a lot of drivers, they're not completely comfortable, but the top 10, I would say they're fairly comfortable compared to everybody else still scrapping for those final couple of positions right here. Kendorian Davis, he's in 11th, and he's kind of flirted with being on the outside looking in and being just in the playoff positions here. Been a bit quiet in this race so far, but that 51 truck currently 4 points up. Bobby Germain 1 point up. Johnny Cofield and Matt Knighties there tied on points, but they are both 1 point out of that playoff spot. I mean, it is every position 1 point, so things are getting quite tight here as this season, at least the regular season, begins to wind down.
Regular season winding down. These drivers are getting ready to start battling very hard for those positions coming to Homestead. We'll have to see how close that battle is once we leave here of Charlotte with these drivers. Battling very hard, as it looks like the Duke machine making a second pit stop there. We top off on fuel real quick. Try to make the next stop maybe just a touch shorter. So 87 is out in the lead. We'll have the Westenberg there in second, as you can see. The 78 just rolling off of pit road here. Puts him all the way back to 27th. There's a lot of trucks out here tonight. Not usually can sometimes lead to just quite a few cautions because there's just a lot of trucks going for the same real estate on the track, and sometimes it just leads to a lot of cautions.
Well, I'll tell you what, Duke came down pit road another time to top off some more. He's already in the back, so might as well continue to try and get that fuel numbers up for him, some more comfort levels as the 04 pushes him. He's clutching and coasting. That's what the 78 is doing. When you hold down that clutch pedal, you use almost no fuel. Will he go back into the pits here? No. So he's going to continue to clutch and coast as they go double file and get ready for the restart here. Going to be 40 laps to go exactly when we go back to Green Flag Racing. That's halfway through the race that we're at. Look at Tyler Justice here in that 33 GoatLocker Racing machine, currently 5th, up 6 spots in this race. Solid job for him tonight.
Tyler Justice been having himself a decent night as well. James Coffin right there. Been right here solidly in the top 10 all night. Alongside him, you can see the 10 truck there of Coffin's been just knocking on the door of the top 10, not able to really get close to those top 3. We'll have to see if he can do it on this restart. As a leader, on almost every one of these restarts has just been pulling away on the field. We'll see if the Ellingson machine there in second has anything for the lead here on this restart.
Well, we've seen a lot of restarts with the 32 hovering around a podium position tonight. This might be the first one with Eddie Smith alongside him. Going to go back to Green Flag Racing here. 40 laps to go, 60 miles before we see the end of this race. Remember, drivers still have to pit to make it to the end. Green flag back out. They're already trying to wreck as they cross that start-finish line. Somehow they keep it together, at least for the moment, and we storm into turn 1. Eddie Smith the advantage.
Eddie Smith in probably the best spot on the track as we have got another yellow on the track. Looks like the number 92 is involved in this one.
Oh boy.
Right at the halfway mark, we're back under yellow. About half a lap in to the halfway mark. See the 92 machine here on the outside. Oh, looks 58. Like the 58 of Doug Ellingson. Looks like he was down on the bottom.
Doug has not had the best of seasons that he would like for himself. Well, has had some troubles lately. Did not get off to a good start there. Not sure if he just missed a shift or was caught napping, and obviously lost a number of rows down on the inside here. Goes into turn 1 completely loose, comes back up, and then just causes a melee right there. So that's rough to see.
The number 11 was collected in that as well, along with Alex Egan. As unfortunately, we're back-to-back cautions here. Like I said, not sure if we missed the shift, but definitely was not ready on that restart. And seemed to just get really loose right there. And unfortunately, when it comes back up the track, there was already 2 trucks there.
Unfortunate moment in this race, and brings it back down into the pits to try and get some damage repaired as Eddie Smith still continues to lead the way. We're going to be right back after a few words from our partners here on Maconi Entertainment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
We're back at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the INVETS Trucks Series in GoatLocker Racing action. Dylan Coyle, Jeremy Briggs bringing you the action on Maconi Entertainment. We're under caution for, I believe, the 7th time tonight, and the pace truck is about to go back down pit road for a restart with 35 laps to go. We're just on the edge of being able to make it on a full fuel run to the checkered flag. The numbers were set from 28 to 32 laps. So if that is the case, then no one's going to be able to make it if it does stay on a green flag until the end of it. But saying that is a very tall task considering we are on that 7th caution period of the night, and it is an 80-lap race. Tommy Lemley in that 2nd row trying to get fired back up, get a good jump. Jim Coffin right in behind him, while Eddie Smith and Jacob Ellingson will lead the field to this restart. Eddie Smith, many restarts tonight. He's experienced at this, and he gets the field going. Went a bit slower than some of his more recent restarts, but he still gets the gap and extends it just a bit by a truck length, maybe just half a truck length, into turn 1, while Wessenberg will stretch his legs and get into 2nd. Ellingson tries to go down the inside. Wessenberg and he go side by side into turn 3. This is putting a smile onto Eddie Smith's face.
Monster passer by the number 27 machine of Ellingson to make it work through that turns 3 and 4. Put the number 27 into 2nd place. A couple trucks back there, just kind of all single file. Looks like we get to about the 7th, 8th position there with Kaufman and the Craig machine involved. It looks like the 49 is involved in this little scrum here, the 16 as well. There's a 49, excuse me, the 49 right there inside of the Kaufman machine. Trying to make a pass to the top 10, excuse me, top 5.
More trucks trying to get within the top 10. This is a scrappy battle going on here around the edge of it, as multiple trucks trying to take it 2 wide, maybe even 3 wide, heading into turn 3. Kendorian Davis in that 51, HendrickCars.com Chevy Silverado, he's trying to, or Toyota, I should say. That Toyota Tundra is a weird look to have on a Hendrick Cars truck. My goodness, so many things fighting against each other right there. But Davis in 13th right now and is starting to move away from these drivers, duking it out in 14th on back. Some swapping of positions, swapping of lanes to make the moves happen. Almost 3 wide, almost some contact. And David Duke is trying to move his way back up through the field. Be careful now. These drivers want to get their elbows out.
That 13 truck right there, Bobby Germain, is giving it all he's got, trying to hang on to that position on the outside, almost up against the wall, trying to grip it and rip out as he was getting freight trained on the inside. He had that thing all sorts of sideways coming out of 2 last time by. Everything right now, I guess you can see right up against that wall for that 13 truck, just trying to rip it. And let's see if it works out for him, but right now he's kind of falling back. There's the number 7 truck of Charles Abbott finds himself on the inside of him now.
Oh, Landford starts to drift up high a tad, almost gets into Jeremiah Holt, but they remain contactless at the moment. Duke in behind. He just wants to get through this hornet's nest as Landford once again slides up high. Benjamin Stevens has a run on the outside. No room. He has to take his foot off the throttle. He looks into the middle. This is just dangerous racing for everyone involved. Look at the swapping back and forth, sawing on the steering wheel as they head into one. Landford, you can tell he's struggling a bit on those tires and is holding off the group of fast drivers in behind.
Sometimes when you're in the truck on that bottom lane, you get somebody on your back bumper, you get somebody on your right side door. It takes all of what you can to basically hold on to it. It's a couple trucks almost into the wall, if not into the wall, off of turn number 4. You see the 13 machine back up to the top of Bobby Germain, trying to get around the outside of the number 2 of Alex Egan. As we look at the number 25 machine just out front of this truck as they're battling right down the back stretch. We got one slow truck. That's a 10. That's James Kaufman.
And they're putting the yellow out, the iRacing system for that. Come on. He was off track and stopped, and it was a 1-car incident, but we're back under the yellow flag. Kaufman, well, it was a 2-car incident. He kind of just drifted up high and was tagged by that 49 machine, went up into the wall, out of the way. No other trucks got involved, and the caution didn't come out until Kaufman was completely stopped on the very inside of the backstretch. So frustrating caution, to say the least, right there, but we are under yellow, and I expect everyone to come down pit road.
You said it right there, Dylan. Everybody should be coming to pit road. It looks like the 49 machine was just right to the outside right rear quarter panel and just really tight racing. And unfortunately, when you have tight racing, sometimes the internet servers aren't the best helper as everybody starts to make that left-hand turn with under 32 laps to go. This will put everybody good to go to the end as tires are almost a pretty much non-factor. It looks like the whole field is on pit road except for the 99.
Well, Brandon Wallace not coming down pit road is an interesting decision right there, unless there is something else we're unaware of at the moment. But Ellingson in his pit stall. Everyone should be grabbing tires and grabbing fuel. A full service stop for all the drivers involved should be on the menu. Wessenberg is out, Lemley is out, so is Smith, and so is Ellingson. And Ellingson almost beat Eddie Smith to the punch, but Smith will come out of the pits and lose 0 positions and retake the lead out of at least the drivers that came down pit road. We should get back to green flag racing with 23 laps to go. But give another shout out to our primary partner, INVETS, which is founded by veterans and for veterans, an agent transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They're a veteran nonprofit here in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to the state to live and work. And of course, they're the title sponsor of the Sunday Truck Series. INVETS does a lot of good And of course, love having them as the title sponsor of this Sunday Truck Series in GoatLocker Racing competition. Of course, we broadcast all these races on Maconi Entertainment. And a note from the race control, Jeremy, what are we hearing?
Looks like we are going to single file restarts here. We'll see if we go back to double file at any point, but right now race control trying to get some of this green flag racing underway, maybe get these drivers spread out a little bit so we can get some more green flag laps. I believe that might have been our longest green flag lap run of the night, but everybody should be good to go to the end here on fuel. So race control wants to keep everybody a little more calmer on this restart. Maybe we'll see if the single file restart will help.
Well, Brandon Wallace will lead here, and because it will be a single file restart, he'll like that. He'll have less competition when we do get back to racing. I think we'll go back to racing with 23 laps to go, so we'll see how long he'll be able to stay out there. Not sure if he came down during that last stop or that caution before this one. If he did, he might be cutting it very, very, very close to make it to the end of this race. But hey, worth a shot. Tires aren't that much older in that case than everybody else, and I don't hate the move.
Sometimes you try to, if you can't beat somebody, you got to do something different. Looks like Brandon Wallace is going to try and use some of this clean air to his advantage. Try to hold off the 87 machine of Eddie Smith, who's been pretty dominant here throughout this evening when he's up towards the front. The Ellingson machine was pretty close on his back bumper there under that last green flag stint, a lot closer than I expected him to be. Then we had that yellow flag come out, so we'll see how it plays out for Eddie Smith as the pace truck lights are off and we're having our single file restart of the night.
It's going to be a weird but measurable response from race control, I should say, for sure, to see single file restarts here, but it is the response I think that many would welcome here. Maybe not everyone back in the field because they want to make up positions, but we do want to have some consistent green flag racing, and this should settle the drivers down, at least for the opening couple laps. They're not going to be as focused on running each other off the track or into the outside wall. So going to go get back to green flag racing with 23 laps to go, or more specifically 34.5 miles remaining in the race. They'll be able to make it on a full fuel run, but will Brandon Wallace be able to? That's the big question. Is this a strategy that will play out in his favor, or will Eddie Smith, Jacob Ellingson, anybody else be able to capitalize on fresh tires and new fuel? Wallace will lead the entire field to the green, and he's a bit hesitant to get back onto the throttle. There's a stack up still with single file, and Eddie Smith is all over the back, and they're wrecking in the infield. Are we staying green? For now, we are, and that is because Wallace was just not ready to go. You can't hesitate once you get back to that restart zone, and that's exactly what he did. Green stays out. Lemley was around on this replay, and that is unfortunate. Top 5 starting restart position for him.
Unfortunate restart there for that number 30 truck. Like instead of Lemley trying to, oh, it looks like a truck. It looks like the truck in front of him blinked, and he may have hesitated, not knowing where the truck was in front of him. And unfortunately, the truck behind him was not prepared. But when we get back to live action, Eddie Smith wasted no time getting around the Brandon Wallace machine. Is Ellingson as well, Jacob Ellingson, and the number 27 Lincoln Tech machine followed his tire tracks. As the 99 of Wallace is trying a different strategy there. Looks like he's not going to fall under the clutches there of Cameron Westenberger, with Tyler Justice right there looking on.
Cameron Westenberg is in third, up 16 positions in this race. Got a bit loose on corner exit, but has some speed, has some momentum, and has some pushing as a caution comes out once again. I believe this is caution number 8 within 60 laps of a race, and that is the 69 who appears to have had an issue in the back of the field.
Man, really tight there. Just almost self-clearing on entries. It looks like the 04 might have just packed air on the back of the 69. From that angle, I didn't see any contact. We'll see if we can grab another angle, but it looked like maybe just packed some air. Let's see, here's another good replay. If anything, just slight contact. You can see he did check up a little bit trying to stay off of him, because you can see Kaufman really gained some ground, but unfortunately the contact was already made. The 69 really couldn't save it once the air was taken off that rear spoiler like that.
The caution will be shortened as the 04 will get an end of line penalty. Here's another look at what happened here, and I mean, just again, another example of a guy driving through another driver in this race, and that's unfortunate to see. But I think that's the third time we've seen an incident caused by just acting like the driver in front was not actually in front. As Kaufman and the 04 will come down into pit road here. Is that Brendan Wallace in the background that I saw getting some service?
Yes, that is the 99 as well. Unfortunately, that strategy did not work out for the 99, so looks like he came down to maybe get some fresh tires and just a splash of fuel to get him through these last 19 laps here on Maconi Entertainment. As this race is winding down, see how it plays out for these drivers. As the anticipation is high, as they're trying to get every position they can on these restarts, because they know we haven't been having very long green flag runs, so pretty much every position to get early on is hopefully where you're going to end up once the yellow hopefully doesn't come back out, but if it does come back out, you at least gain a couple spots on that restart.
Timothy Wilms, the Pennsylvanian, in that Ford 86 here. Lights off on the pace truck, so that shortened caution will mean we're going back to green flag racing here with 18 laps to go. And Scott Gilroy, you see that penalty for him is that ELO. The lights are actually still on the pace truck. Missed it from my angle, my perspective. So we will stay under caution at least for one more lap. And by the way, Gilroy has disconnected from the race.
Unfortunate ending there to the Scott Gilroy's night there, as the 1 to go signal has now been given. Take a look at our track temp, air temp right there. Track air temp 78, track temp 79, clear. Pretty nice night here at Charlotte Motor Speedway of the INVETS GoatLocker Racing League Sunday Night Trucks.
Nice view of that backstretch here. You know, usually on the backstretch at Charlotte Motor Speedway, that is where most of the NASCAR industry parks. At most tracks, you do need to have, you see some of the cars, that's a very small amount of cars for what is usually back there. Most tracks you need parking passes. Charlotte, with a NASCAR credential hard card, you are able to get into that parking area. Someone always there to make sure you got what you properly need before you start the long walk into the infield for the Cup, Xfinity, or Truck Series, or heck, even ARCA Series garages. As the pace truck goes down pit road, we're going to go back to green with 17 laps to go. Eddie Smith, the leader of this race, has Ellingson in behind, as well as Wessenberg. Single file restart once again, and they storm into turn 1. Single file has helped out so far.
Eddie Smith with another great restart. The advantage to being the leader, as we look just back here, the number 73 machine there, or excuse me, 78 machine of David Duke making his charge back to the front. We look at the 86 here, Timothy Williams now getting pressure there from the number 36 of George Jewell. They're side by side coming through turn 4.
side by side, up to speed once again through the dog leg. The 36 cuts up and got in front of that 86 truck just barely, but the 36 hang on to it through mid-corner, lost a lot of speed and comes back up to the wall. More drivers in behind with momentum, more shoves, more pushes, more bump drafts. It's all going chaotic here in the closing laps at Charlotte Motor Speedway. George Jewell just in front, and we're riding on board with the driver in behind, the 36 machine. All these drivers trying to desperately move up through the field. Many drivers out of the race so far. We started with 33.
15 laps to go here. Laps are definitely starting to click away very quickly. As Eddie Smith still leads the way with a pretty comfortable lead there over in second place as we look throughout the field. These battles are so tight coming up for turn 4. A lot of these drivers, you just nick that wall, and unfortunately the trucks behind you aren't expecting it. As we look at the number 3 of Mike McCarthy getting pressure from David Duke. As David Duke gets a little loose there out of turn 2, trying to make that pass down the backstretch. Just behind them, it looks like Dorian Davis in the 51. Wow. I mean, they must have been just to paper width apart from each other, as Dorian Davis just sucks right up to them and trying to make his pass. Let's see if Dorian Davis goes through wide.
Dorian Davis is gonna try to do what he can to pass these drivers. Duke got down on the apron, slides up McCarthy, took a bit of an evasive maneuver back out to the outside, and these drivers are going for it here. We're closing in on single-digit laps to go. A bit of a squeeze from McCarthy, and Duke will push him higher out of turn 4.
Really tight racing here down the front stretch. Oh, we got a yellow flag. Got a yellow flag on the track. Looks like the player machine number 25 is involved. Looks like involved as well.
Man, another unfortunate issue for Andrew Player, who has been involved in a few things in this race. 4th in the standings coming into tonight. And what happened here? Lanford is right in behind, and I mean, again, that's kind of just a lazy incident. Nothing Player could do. Lanford got up high, and not sure more trucks are getting involved there. Lanford just kind of slides up the field. The 13 is there, and I'll say Bobby Germain. I mean, it's late in the race, but Germain would just kind of, I want to say, drove through him a little bit. We'll get another look here. Germain has the momentum. He doesn't want to be cut off, but at that point, the truck is there, and then he shoves him in that left rear quarter panel. What you think was going to happen?
Really tight racing here late in the going. Oh!
That's a hard hit.
All right, as we had another truck coming through really hot there at the end of the incident. That might have been Doug.
I mean, yeah, Doug Ellingson has to slow it down when he's coming through there, but at the same time, Lanford's got to realize that there is another driver still on track. As we look back at Ellingson now, we'll look on the outside lights. You see they're green, and then, I mean, the caution at this point is out. The caution is way out. There's a truck there. Slow it down. I mean, yes, Lanford cannot pull out onto the track while there is another truck coming. Absolutely not. But also, Ellingson's got to slow it down before getting himself involved in the incident, as Lanford will get repairs done. Believe he had a fast repair. So we'll go back to green flag racing with under 10 laps remaining in this race, which feels fitting for how this one has gone so far.
Finally down to the single digits for these drivers. I am sure that is a breath of fresh air for these drivers that have been here for this long race event here tonight. Can anybody touch the number 87 of Eddie Smith, who's been pretty much from the back to the front every single time? The 32 has been just right there on the edge. I'm not sure what happened. It looks like Jacob Ellingson lost a few spots on that race run. Not sure if he came down pit road there but does not show him in the top 10 right now.
Try and update that. Ellingson way back in the field, 17th place. And, I mean, he's been having himself a great run in this one. Down 13 spots from where he started this race. And, I mean, he's run most of the race within the top 5, if not a podium position. So this is an unfortunate development for his race in tonight's affairs. But, well, Ellingson could still be the benefactor of incidents that are still yet to be seen in this race. I have no doubt that there will be more contact throughout the final few laps of this race. We might even get some green-white checkered racing action. And unlike NASCAR competition, we will have a limit on how many green-white checkers we're going to possibly get. And we don't call them overtimes. They're green-white checkers here in GoatLocker Racing. A look at Jeremiah Holt having himself a really good night. Even though he has lost 5 positions over where he started in this race, he needs a night like this. Holt 6 points underneath that playoff cut line. And, I mean, a night where he finishes in the top 10, that would be golden.
Jeremiah Holt trying to capitalize on a couple drivers' misfortunes. Some drivers not making it tonight, some drivers not making it to the end of tonight. See if that 73 Splash Auto Spa truck can splash his way into a good finish, as we're now on the single file restart still. 1 lap to green here. Looks like we'll be going to green with 7 laps to go. Eddie Smith been dominant with having great restarts. Is Cameron Westenberg in the number 32 truck finally ready to go on this restart? Can Tyler Justice help him and push the 32 past the 87? Is Mike McCarthy there in the number 3 truck? Can he find himself up towards the front and more in the lead as he's in the top 5? And finishing out our top 5 is David Duke, who's been in the top 5, top podium spots all night. Pit strategy, though, kind of shuffled him around, but he's made himself back up in the top 5 as we're going down to the backstretch, coming to turns 3 and 4, though with the pace truck lights off. We'll see if this will be our final restart of the night.
We shall see. 7 laps will remain by the time we get to green flag racing. 10.5 miles. Can we get to the end of it here without any incident? If I'm a betting man, I'd say most likely not. But I would like to see some good, clean, hard racing to the end here at CMS in Concord, North Carolina. It's the birthplace, well, not maybe the birthplace, but the hometown of NASCAR racing. And we're about to get back to green flag racing under the lights here. 7 to go in GoatLocker Racing INVETS Truck Series action. Lanford already loose in the back. We'll see if he's able to capture it. He does. Eddie Smith has Westenberg all over the rear of that 87 Tide Silverado. Westenberg got loose on corner exit, and there's a wreck in behind. There's trucks sliding and spinning and almost flipping. McCarthy down the track. The 7 almost overturned it. Oh, my word. We're back under yellow.
Number 7 there, Charles Abbott just almost snuck through. Let's see what happened to this number 3 truck that got him spun around with David Duke. Looks like on his back bumper there. It's the number 3 truck. Oh, just comes up a little bit more. There was a truck right there to the outside. That's the number 3 of Mike McCarthy. Just came down the track, and the number 7 of Charles Abbott. Just nowheres to go. Looks like that might do it there for number 7. He is rolling, but very slow, of course. As we are on board here with that number 7 machine during this replay. See how it looks from his vantage point. You see trucks kind of going all over the place, and then, oh yeah, it just happened really quick there for Charles. Just trucks all scattered, and when he saw it, he already saw him coming down the track, but unfortunately he was already committed to going left.
And that is a scary, spooky look at the hood. It's November, and you know we've seen a lot of skulls through Halloween celebration. How is he able to get that truck continuing here? I mean, Abert does need the points. Remember, he's 4 points back out of a playoff spot at the moment, and it's doing a little bit of a dance. There we go. I'm not sure how he did it, but he did get that hood to go back down, and now he can see again and get that truck into his pit box. My word.
VP has a fast repair left, but I believe this will be a quick break before we come to the finish real quick. And we'll be right back here on Maconi Entertainment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hey everybody, Patrick here with GoatLocker Racing. We got the truck loaded up, getting ready to head north up to Muncie, Indiana. About an hour and a half drive. Get this sim rig in the hands of Josh Unger, our newest veteran that has joined the GoatLocker Racing family. Can't wait to get it in his hands. Folks, we just pulled up, so let's get this thing delivered. Alrighty, that was a whole lot of fun. Got the sim rig dropped off to Josh. He's as excited as could be. Got to meet his two boys, his wife, and everything. He's gonna get everything set up and ready to race. So congratulations again, Josh. Welcome to the GoatLocker Racing family, and thanks to everybody that makes this happen. I want to give a special shout out to the Indiana Department of Veterans Affairs and the grant they gave us to make this happen. INVETS, you guys are awesome. You are the ones that helped us identify this veteran and so many more. So stay tuned. We got more sim rigs rolling out, and be sure to follow us on all the social media and head over to our website, www.goatlocker.org. Take care.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
We are back at Charlotte Motor Speedway, and hopefully what is the final restart of this INVETS Trucks Series GoatLocker Racing Sunday night race on Maconi Entertainment. Dylan Coyle alongside Jeremy Briggs, DJ Lyon in the production booth. Pace lights are off on the pace truck. We're about to go back to single file racing here. And I believe we are going back with a natural green-white checkered, so we are not using one of the allotted green-white checkers. That there are 2 that would extend the race. So hold on to your butts. We might see some more restarts and cautions. If they get 1 lap of green flag racing in, the next flag will be the checkered. Eddie Smith looking to win his 3rd straight race in GLR. Wessenberg right in behind, wants the victory here. We're back to green flag racing, and a great jump for Eddie Smith as Wessenberg tries to slot back in behind. A wide arc into the corner, and the caution is back out. Lemley again. That truck is mangled, and we're going to extend the race.
We'll have to take a look at that replay very quick. Looks like the 30 was already wrecked before the start-finish line. Looks like maybe they got bottleneck, and yep, coming to that green flag. Everybody just trying to get everything they can on these single file restarts. The number 30 truck was the loser on that end. Unfortunately, got pinballed out and into the wall. It's like just a single car incident, and we'll probably rack them, restack them for the first of our green-white checkered attempts.
Just drivers, it's crazy, right? We go single file to try and make sure the aggression on the restart stops, but the drivers, unfortunately, are still accordion affecting. Yes, it's a verb now. They're accordioning. I don't know if that is a verb. The restarts here, and that is leading to a lot of damage and potential wrecking happening as this race continues to progress. So we've extended the race. I wonder if fuel will be a concern. I doubt it for any of the drivers in it, but we will have some more racing action to go in this race.
Just a couple more miles left of green flag action to settle this race. Cameron Westenberger there on that restart, not as good as the previous restart. We'll see if he learned anything from that restart. Maybe he can get a better one this time. He wants to be on that back bumper, the 87, going into turn 1 and 2, because if he wants to have an opportunity to win, he's going to want to get to that bottom as quick as he can to 3 and 4, and hopefully try to get to the inside of the 87 coming to the white flag. But a tall task when Eddie Smith's been putting on one heck of a clinic here tonight.
Yeah, Eddie Smith has been doing a really solid job. David Duke was running alongside him, but I think Duke kind of ruined his race with his call to bring it into the pits during that initial bit of cautions, that initial stretch of cautions within the first 10 laps of the race. I have good news. I have bad news. The bad news is these drivers can still wreck. The good news is that they only have one more potential restart after this one if they do wreck. There are only 2 green-white checkered attempts allowed in this racing series, and a lot of these drivers have probably already used up their allotment of tires, and it's not really, they haven't put too much energy into any of the tires themselves, so track position is a necessity for all of the drivers in this field right now. As the pace truck goes across the line, the lights stay on, so we're pacing for at least another 2 laps here before going back to green. Let's talk about David Duke, because he's had an up and down race, and he is currently in P4. With it not being a side-by-side start, he's going to have a difficult time in 2 laps making it all the way back up to Eddie Smith. However, it's a solid comeback drive for him, and he's back in contention here.
Gonna see if he can pull out a podium position finish. We'll look at the number 27 of Jacob Ellingson, who was up in pretty much a podium position all night long. Not sure how he ended up here towards the back, but as we look further on, he finds himself back towards the back.
Yeah, Jacob hit the wall, by the way. The reason that he went all the way into the back of the field is because he got a meatball flag for hitting the wall under caution. Not sure how that happened, but he had to use his fast repair to get that truck repaired. So that's why he's all the way in the back of the field, because he did have to pit under the caution. Doug Ellingson is his father, and he's had himself an interesting night tonight. Been involved in a fair few incidents in this race tonight. That right side of the truck has got a few stripes on it as we believe are about to go back to 1 to go here before getting that green flag back out into the air by the iRacing flagman, Barney. Eddie Smith trying to clean up the... I was trying to do a Tide pun there. I'm gonna just quit while I'm ahead. I'm trying to sweep 3 races in a row with another victory after another dominant run, a dominant affair. This has been a fantastic drive for him, but Westenberg is right there.
Well, Westenberg gives himself another opportunity to try to capitalize on these restart chances to see if he can find himself anywhere as close to Eddie Smith's bumper, to maybe just use some air. Try to get the 87 just upset just a little bit to give himself a little bit of a chance, but Eddie Smith's been really good on these restarts. Cameron Westenberg's have to put it all together here, because we have one green and white checkered attempt after this, and then after that the race will be over, and you definitely want to get in front of 87 to be the winner, of course. 87 is just so good on these restarts. We'll have to see what he can do this time, as we're coming to the green this time, Dylan.
Let's see if this is the last restart we are going to have in this race. Green flag back out into the air. Eddie Smith leads, Westenberg in behind. More drivers trying to get involved for the win of this race. Smith leads it, but he's got to deal with the slipstream. That draft, it's going to be huge heading into turn 3. A good run for Westenberg here, and he's going to dive down to the inside heading into 3, pack some air on that left rear. They go side by side into 3. Will those tires keep that truck planted to the ground? It does not. He has to slot in behind Eddie Smith as David Duke tries to take third away. White flag in the air, Jeremy.
Number 32 machine there, Cameron Westenberg, gave it all he could there in turn 3 and 4 to get to the inside of the 87. But the 87 of Eddie Smith was no match, and he's going to lead him down to the backstretch one more time.
Eddie Smith has had to deal with a monstrous amount of restarts in this race. Every single time he's come out the victor, and he's going to win in back-to-back-to-back races. Smith crosses the line and takes the checkered at Charlotte. Westenberg, Tyler Justice rounds out the podium right there. We'll talk to all 3 of them in a few moments, but we did only use one of those allotted green-white checkered attempts in that race, and my goodness, we have finally reached that all-important checkered. Race started around 8:05 p.m. It's 9:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Westenberg will come, I think, to congratulate Eddie Smith here a little bit as he begins his burnouts. But, you know, with a bunch of cautions, we still make it to the end of this race, and Smith will leave the screen, will make sure that truck cannot go through inspection, and will burn it down across that stripe. We will be right back here on Maconi Entertainment.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
When you want to be the best, you can't settle for the rest. For anything on iRacing, there's just one name you need, Maconi.
With the launch of Maconi Entertainment and Maconi Competizone alongside Maconi Setup Shop, we now provide the best of the best in setups, paint schemes, coaching, broadcasting, and event organization.
With cars across all 4 license classes, we have what you need to hit the track with confidence. Grab a subscription and save money while going fast at MaconiSetupShop.com/subscriptions.
And remember, at Maconi Setup Shop, there are setups, but your victories.
Charlotte Motor Speedway played host to round 9 of the regular season in INVETS Truck Series action, and GoatLocker Racing on Maconi Entertainment. Dylan Coyle, Jeremy Briggs bringing you the action here. Let's take a look at the results as Eddie Smith took the win, his 3rd straight in the series, while Cameron Wessenberg, Tyler Justice round out the podium. David Duke and Dorian Davis, a top 5 for him. Alex Egan, Johnny Caulfield, Craig Bontrager, Josh Delea, and Colton Langford, your top 10 finishers, while in 11th is Charles Abert, Michael McCarthy, Timothy Williams, Jacob Ellingson, Andrew Player, George Jewell, Tommy Lindley, Nicholas Schell, James Kaufman, and Matt Knighties are your top 20 finishers. Good mix of manufacturers right there. Before we get into a ton of Chevys, Braden Wallace and Jeremiah Holt all finished on the lead lap in 22nd. Bobby Germain, Kevin Martin 1 lap down, while Doug Ellington was 6 laps down. Everyone else had a lot of issues. Benjamin Stevens, Scott Gilroy, Tyler Merritt, Jacob Lenke, Nick Gibson, your top 30, while 31st, 32nd, and 33rd were filled out by more drivers in the back of the field. But it's now time to talk to the winner of this race, and that winner is Eddie Smith. Eddie, we're talking a lot lately, and this is your 3rd straight win here in GoatLocker Racing. This one came with a lot of restarts, but you held on strong every single one. How are you feeling just after getting that win?
I mean, it don't feel good. I don't feel like I raced at all tonight. So, I'll be honest, I'll keep it short because I know y'all are ready to get off here. But I don't know what to talk about. There wasn't really any racing, so don't know. I don't even know what to tell y'all about my race. It was just it was a mess. So I'm just glad to get the win, I guess.
Well, hey, you still got the win. You led 70 laps in the race, and you had to deal with a lot of restarts. Let's talk about something a little bit more fun. You might need some time to clean up what just happened on the track. I heard you blew an engine in your burnout.
Yeah, well, the engine guy is kind of a piece of crap, and so every time I win, I always kind of go ahead and just give him something to do the next week. He's always complaining about not having enough work, so we just went ahead and blew it for him, and that way he can have something to do this week.
Is there an art to the burnout that you want to share with us?
I don't hold the throttle, turn the wheel, and just let her eat. I guess I don't know. I don't get to practice them very often, so I just get in there and just do donuts. A normal fellow would probably pass out. It's like flying an F-16 probably. The way I was just spinning around there, but yeah, I don't know. Just make noise. That's what I like to do.
Well, Eddie, congratulations on the win tonight. You led 70 laps. That's 3 straight for you in the series. We'll talk to you probably another time.
All right, guys. I want to thank our sponsors real quick before y'all let me go. I want to thank Lincoln Tech, Hidden Brewery, Cruisin Classics, Nasty's, Veterans for Life Foundation, Veterans for Life Racing, and INVETS, Jam Printing Promotion, Maconi Setup Shop, B-Speed, and Nazareth 360. So thank those guys. Thank y'all up in the booth.
Heck yeah. Appreciate it, Eddie. You take care.
See ya.
All right. That was Eddie Smith. And Jeremy, you are standing by with Cameron Wessenberg.
Cameron Wessenberg, our 2nd place finisher here tonight, started in the 19th started position, had quite the ways to go, a very chaotic race. Cameron, how did you find yourself up in a 2nd, and what else did you need to get to Eddie Smith?
Yeah, we used a little strategy earlier in the race there and got some good track position. Stayed out on a couple of laps on tires and got up there. That last lap there was about the only shot I had at him. Got to his inside, got tight. Didn't want to take him out, so I had to get out of it. Got 2nd.
Well, you made the right decision there just to finish the race. Obviously, it's always great to have competitors around you that have the right state of mind. Who do you got to thank for getting you here tonight?
Well, got everybody that helps me out on here. I got Tommy Limley, he's my teammate here, and Caleb Todd, Andy Thompson, Stevie Hennon, just everybody, just a group of us get together, do a little racing here and there.
Well, you had an eventful night to get yourself there into the second place finishing position. Congratulations on that, and hopefully we'll speak to you in the near future.
All right, thank you.
Cameron Wessenberg, your second place finisher. And we have one more to grab. We'll grab the number 33 machine of Tyler Justice, our third place finisher. Tyler, man, walk us through your night. You started in 11th, didn't have too far to go to get up to third, but you made your way there. How was it out there?
It was pretty tough just with a number of cautions. So basically just had to kind of pick off one or two every restart, re-rack them, do it again, or at least try not to lose anything. And then once I knew I could hit my fuel number, just try to make up one or two places every restart. But that was about it. That was a little bit tough, but still had a good time.
We're looking forward to next week at Homestead. What are your expectations for there?
Hopefully I can just get through. Pretty sure I'm pretty good on the cut line. Just top 10, top 15, just make it through, not have too much trouble, and going into the playoffs.
That is it. Playoffs are on the horizon, Tyler. Who do you got to thank for getting you here tonight?
Yeah, I just want to shout out Pat and Jamie, Jake, running GLR. It's a great place to race. I love racing. I've raced all 5 series. Awesome to come out here almost every night. Shout out Jamie Perkins and my team over at Veterans for Life Racing, Lincoln Tech, Hidden Wit Brewery, Cruisin Classics, Nasty's Restaurant and Bar, Veterans for Life Foundation, INVETS, Jam Printing and Promotions, Maconi Setup Shop, V-Speed, Nazra, you guys at the Maconi Entertainment. Y'all always put on a pretty good show, and I love watching it back. And Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, Alexander PCs, Sim Motions, Next Level Racing, iRacing, and Above the Yellow Line.
Congratulations again on your podium finish there, Tyler Justice. Hopefully we'll speak to you again in the near future.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.
And that was Tyler Justice, your third place finisher. What do we got to look forward next week there, Tyler, or excuse me, Dylan?
Wow. I'm not Tyler Justice. I'm Dylan Coyle.
I'm sorry.
Jeremy Briggs, or should I say DJ Lion. Week 10 next week. It's the cutoff race before we head into playoff competition. And it is at Homestead Miami Speedway, the best racetrack in all of NASCAR. Yes, I said that, and I will stand by that. Awesome racing here for progressive banking. It's one of those weirdly shaped racetracks, and it offers so much up for competition. Lots of cautions we had in this race, Jeremy, but it will be a fun one next weekend.
Excited to be at Homestead. I'm going to second you on that. Homestead's one of the best tracks on the NASCAR circuit.
So much fun, and we will bring the fun to you on Maconi Entertainment next Sunday night. And, we've got a lot of racing action still left in this season. Once we do make the playoffs, we're going to have a 2-race round of 12, a 2-race round of 8 before we have the championship finale in this Sunday Truck Series schedule. Michigan and Richmond, the round of 12. Iowa and Pocono, the round of 8. And then old school Atlanta Motor Speedway will be the championship race 3 days before Christmas. And when we say old school, we mean new school, but not old school. We mean the one before it was repaved. That's what I mean. But from myself, Dylan Coyle, along with Jeremy Briggs, DJ Lion, in the production booth. This has been Maconi Entertainment with INVETS Trucks Series GoatLocker Racing action. Thank you for joining us. Good night and good racing.